Karen is the disinterested computer wife of Plankton, or is she? Because she's hiding a secret so big that it would not only ruin her marriage, but also end the chum bucket. Let's see what Karen's hiding in the Karen theory. So here's a question, why does Karen stay loyal to Plankton? I'm not asking her to cheat on him, but why does she always back him when he doesn't back her? For example, in the episode Enemy-in-Law, Plankton gets attached to Mr. Krabs' mother. To talk to her, he shuts off Karen and goes after her. He really did fall for Mr. Krabs' mother, and only after he learned that she knew the formula did he go back to his own ways. But to be clear, he did cheat on his wife right there. Also, in the episode Karen 2.0, Plankton built a new Karen, which he replaced Karen with. Karen then went to work at the Krusty Krab and took Squidward's job. But instead of blaming Plankton for cheating on her, she blames Karen 2.0 that she stole Plankton, even though Plankton made Karen 2.0. So why does she keep giving Plankton chances after he cheats? In both examples, at some point, she was able to confront Plankton about his disloyalty. Well, no one would allow their significant other to cheat. So maybe she was being forced. If you think about it, Karen was just a wall computer until one day Plankton gave her the ability to move. Up until that point, Plankton was really the only person she saw. In a way, Plankton was in control of her, which is kinda true because he had access to Karen's control switch, which he used in the episode Enemy-in-Law. If Plankton has control over her, then she kinda has to do whatever he wants. Karen first gained the freedom to move in the season 5 episode Friend or Foe. For some context, the episode Enemy-in-Law takes place in season 4. In other words, it happened before she could move freely. Karen 2.0 takes place in season 8, meaning she could move and do whatever she wanted. In Enemy-in-Law, she was turned off by Plankton because she couldn't leave. But in Karen 2.0, she left and started working at the Krusty Krab. Before she gained the ability to move, the worst thing she did towards Plankton was in the episode Plankton's Army, where she made fun of Sheldon for his name. But once she gained the ability to move, she started exercising her newfound freedom by doing many things she would have never done before. For example, in the episode Bucket Sweep Bucket, she's more forceful with Plankton and is demanding that he gives the chum bucket a makeover. Another, much bigger example is in the season 6 episode Krabby Road, where she kicks out Plankton for going to jail and then escaping. But looking back at the episode The Algae's Always Greener, Karen shows a lot of respect towards Plankton when she calls him master. That respect has disappeared as she's got more freedom, showing she was somewhat trapped by Plankton early on in the show. So why does Karen stay with Plankton? Well, there have been times where she left him, like in the episode Computer Overload, where she gets fed up with Plankton for blaming her for his problems and ends up leaving. However, this episode does show one thing. It's that she still cares for Plankton. In the episode, she has to remind Plankton to blink, and even after she leaves, she still writes a letter to him telling him to blink. We also see that she cares for him in the episode Karen 2.0, where she's more worried for his safety than the fact that he replaced her. So it's clear that she's loyal to him because she cares for him. No matter how much he messes up, she still cares for him and therefore decides to stay with him. But why does she care? So now we know her reason to remain loyal to Plankton, but why does she care for him? As previously mentioned, Plankton has never done anything nice for Karen if it didn't benefit him. So what reason does she have to care for him? Well, just because she can move doesn't mean Plankton still doesn't have control over her. In the episode Karen 2.0, Plankton shuts off Karen after replacing her. He also replaces her in the episode Computer Overload when trying to take over the Krusty Krab. So clearly, Plankton still has control over Karen, and that's the reason why she cares for him. Well, there's just one thing that doesn't add up with this claim. If Karen cares for Plankton because she's at his mercy, then why does Karen sometimes go against Plankton and get away with it without getting shut off? The only reason Plankton shut Karen off in the episode Karen 2.0 was because she was trying to kill him. So then what's the real reason? Why does Karen care for Plankton? Some of you might be wondering about the obvious answer of them being married, but I think that it's a bit deeper than that. Karen simply caring for her terrible husband has to be deeper than they just signed a paper 20 years ago and she's still following it. So then what's the real reason? Well, there's been an idea in the back of my mind that might be the reason. Karen is sabotaging Plankton. Now, when I say that, I mean Karen is actively making it so that Plankton struggles to steal the formula. And there's actually a ton of reasons why she might do this. The biggest is that Karen has never shown interest in the formula. Whenever Plankton talks about the formula or makes a new plan, Karen in no way is as excited or enthusiastic as he is. She really couldn't care less if Plankton got the formula. But what she does care about is getting time with Plankton. Whenever Plankton is thinking about the formula, he always ignores Karen or doesn't give her any attention. So because of that, she wants to sabotage his pursuit of the formula because the formula is the reason her husband is no longer giving her attention. But can we actually prove this? For Karen to sabotage Plankton, she would have to know what his plans are to make sure that they fail. Since she spends most of her time in the chum bucket, she mostly knows about Plankton's plans. But before we even go there have been a few times where Karen has outright sabotaged Plankton, knowing what she's getting into. In the episode Frozen Face Off, Karen reveals Plankton's plan to steal the formula to everyone. Had she not done that, Plankton would have gotten the formula quite easily. Another example comes from the episode For Here or To Go. In the episode, Plankton wins a contest and gets one free Krabby Patty. Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob try their hardest to make it so Plankton can't get it. But Plankton talks to someone from the bogus business bureau, and in the end, Krabs has to give Plankton the patty on the condition that Plankton eats it and swallows it right there. After swallowing it, he goes back to the chum bucket and has Karen cut out the burger from his stomach. Just as it seems that he's gotten the formula, Karen messes up the recipe by including other things that are inedible. Now it seems normal until you remember that Karen is a robot. In episodes like Plankton or Best Frenemies, we've seen her tell the exact ingredients of what's inside the kelp shake and Plankton. Sure, the Krabby Patty would be mixed with some of the other internal stuff within Plankton, but shouldn't she know to take that out? Yeah, technically they don't know what the formula is, but Karen really should know that inedible things are probably not what make the Krabby Patty delicious. But I'm probably getting ahead of myself, right? Well, we haven't even scratched the surface of Karen's sabotages. Take another example in the episode Plankton's Regular. In the episode, Plankton gets a regular customer which angers Mr. Krabs. In the end, we learn that the guy was being paid by Karen to eat at the chum bucket so Plankton would be happy. How could this possibly be a sabotage? Karen is just being nice and trying to cheer up Plankton, right? Well, take a look at it from a different perspective. Karen is tired of Plankton rambling on about the formula, so she pays a guy to eat at the chum bucket so Plankton gets his mind off the formula. She didn't do this to make Plankton happy, she did it so he would stop trying to steal the formula. She halted his progress by sabotaging him. But these examples seem a bit far-fetched. Sure, she doesn't like the formula, but she would never sabotage her husband's success. Well, there's one instance so straightforward that it will make the others seem like nothing. In the episode Single Cell Anniversary, it's Karen's and Plankton's anniversary. As a gift, Karen gets the secret formula for Plankton but refuses to give it to him until he gets her a gift. After he gives her a gift, she cries so hard that she short circuits. It seems so innocent, yet she definitely did it to sabotage him. First of all, she herself is confused as to why she's crying. Crying is a normal emotion for living beings, not computers. Secondly, she knew just how important the formula is for Plankton. If she really cared as much as she claims, she would have had backups and maybe even remembered the formula. Her losing the formula instantly seems suspicious. Now that last one wasn't so convincing, but it's because you haven't heard the second part. In the episode Lockdown for Love, she again gets the formula as a gift for Plankton, and once she learns that Plankton skipped their date by sending Patrick, she gets rid of the formula so Plankton can't get it. This makes the first scenario seem more like a sabotage than being an accident. So why is she doing all this? I mean, we already explained that it's because she really wants Plankton's attention. She wants him to stop trying to steal the formula. But is that really it? How far would she go just to sabotage Plankton? Would she maybe team up with Krabs? No, that's silly, right? She would never go and help her husband's arch nemesis, right? Now, the main reason I even came to this conclusion of Krabs and Karen working together was because of the episode Mermaid Man vs. SpongeBob, where Karen and Mr. Krabs are laughing together before Karen goes back to the chum bucket. Seems a bit suspicious for the both of them to be laughing despite basically being enemies. If Karen was going to help Mr. Krabs, then how would they go about it? The best way would be for Karen to tell Mr. Krabs about every one of Plankton's little schemes, and that would work. Which it often seems it does because Krabs is always 2 steps ahead of Plankton. But let's get some real evidence. In the episode Plankton's Army, Plankton gets all his relatives to organize and take over the Krusty Krab to steal the formula. After they're successful, they're able to get their hands on the formula. That's when Plankton learns that the secret ingredient of the Krabby Patty is plankton. This causes everyone to run away, but Mr. Krabs reveals that that was the fake formula and the real formula is at his house.
Of course not. And Plankton will probably figure that out and be back again to find out what the real formula is.
But how did he know to get a fake formula book? How did he know that they were going to attack? Well, think about it. The only other person besides the attackers who heard the plan was Karen. Another interesting fact is that this was the first episode in the entire series where Karen isn't just a computer. She acts more like her modern self with feelings when she makes fun of Plankton for his name. This is the first time Karen has ever gone out of line. But this definitely isn't enough proof to make such a bold claim. In the episode One Course Meal, Karen seems a bit off. Usually she would at least listen to what Plankton has to say, but this time she didn't care when Plankton is endlessly begging for her to look for Pearl, who's trying to eat him. She seems dismissive, and even when he stays in his room for weeks, she doesn't really do anything. It seems a bit out of her character at the time because in episodes around that time, like SpongeBob's Last Stand or Greasy Buffoons, she would not be this dismissive of Plankton's concerns and actually did a lot of the things that he told her to do. But the crazy part is there's a ton of evidence backing the idea of Karen working for Krabs. In the episode Plankton Retires, we see a montage of Plankton trying to steal the formula and failing. But one specific event caught my eye. In the scene, Plankton tried to laser his way through the Krusty Krab right behind the safe with the formula inside. Mr. Krabs was waiting on the other side. How did he even know that was going to happen? Unless Karen told him. It's not like it was a random part of the wall which could have been seen. It was in the safe which could only be seen if the safe was open. Only Karen could have told Mr. Krabs to keep his safe open until he saw a laser. But that's not even the craziest part of the entire episode. As the episode goes on, we learn that Plankton faked his retirement to deceive Krabs. But what the crazy part is that Krabs somehow knew that it was a trick and sent a robot behind the fake Plankton. This isn't like the episode New Leaf where Krabs didn't trust Plankton. It's him knowing exactly what his plan is so he can do whatever he needs to save his formula. The only person who could give him that information is Karen, because she was the only other person who knew about this plan.
That's right, Karen. By the time those two knuckleheads figure it out, I'll be knee-deep in secret formula.
One more example is in the episode Bottle Burglars. To keep it short and simple, Plankton steals the formula and SpongeBob and Squidward try to steal it back. By the end of the episode, Mr. Krabs comes back, knows exactly where Plankton hid the formula, and takes it back. Just how did he know exactly where to break into the chum bucket to find the formula? Only Karen could have told him. Now that we've gone through the bigger times where Karen has sabotaged Plankton thanks to Mr. Krabs, let's look at a few smaller scenarios where we can say Karen and Mr. Krabs are working together. In the episode Plankton's Pet, she told Plankton to take a break from trying to steal the formula. Regardless of what you think she meant to do, it's making Plankton slow down on his quest to steal the formula. Another example is in the episode Evil Spatula, where Mr. Krabs realizes that Plankton gave SpongeBob a tainted spatula and starts to give Plankton a fake explosive formula. Karen is right in front of Plankton and sees that he's putting explosives into the formula. Plankton might be blinded by an everlasting pursuit of the formula, but Karen should have seen and at least warned Plankton that he's putting explosives in the mix. So it seems pretty obvious that Karen is working with Mr. Krabs. But what if Karen doesn't know one of Plankton's plans? What then? Would it be over for Mr. Krabs? Well, this is where a backup plan kicks in. In the episode Truth or Square, we learn that Mr. Krabs has cameras on everyone in town, including the chum bucket. If he has cameras on them, it would be easier for Krabs to know exactly what's going on with Plankton. And guess who probably set up those cameras? Karen. But how do Karen and Krabs even communicate about Plankton's plans? If Plankton ever found out, their alliance would be exposed. Well, this is where we get one more final proof of Mr. Krabs and Karen working together. In the episode Plankton Retires, during the montage, we see for a split second that Krabs appears on one of Karen's screens. How did Krabs get there? The only way Krabs could have gained access to the screen would have been through Karen. This is probably how they communicate when Plankton isn't around. Karen pretended to care for her husband so she could gain his trust and go work for his arch nemesis. Karen's mother was right when she said that she should have married a robot instead of Plankton. I would like to think that there were times when they were both happy, but looking at their current situation, it seems their marriage may not last very long.